The timeline of the PDPA, it has been firstly announced to come into effect in 2019. Originally, it's supposed to be in fully effect May last year, but due to the pandemic, they give us 1 more year to breathe. So it will come into effect in 1st of May 2011. But however, even though they give us some time, they also want to make sure that the data that we have will be safeguarded. So that's why they say the data security measure must be already in place, whether you're gonna comply to this in details or not. Basically, they want to make sure that we safeguard our data in terms of confidentiality, integrity, and availability. We have to make sure that the personal data that we are in our possession has been safeguarded, whether it's going to be administrative safeguard like policy and procedures, or user access or management, also technical safeguard in terms of IT technology, and also physical safeguard like facility access control, workstation and device security or CCTV. But as we already know, we already have this in place in the company, so we comply to the data security. The next one, who is applicable to this law, according to the definition, it says that the data controller or the data processor who are in the Kingdom of Thailand, whether the processing happen in Thailand or not. So what that does mean? It means that if you are a company in Thailand, whether or not you're processing the Thai people data or not, you have to comply with this law because it's the location. You operate in the country, so you have to comply with this law. The second one, if you are a data controller or a data processor, but you are outside Thailand, you have some certain activity related to the data subject in Thailand, which is you offering goods or product or service to the data subject who are in the Thailand. It doesn't have to be Thai people. It can be expat living in Thailand, but you're offering the good for this expat living in Thailand. So you have to be compliant to this law too. Or if you're monitoring the people who are living in the Thailand, so you have to be compliant. The same concept apply to the GDPR too. If we are offering a product or a service to a people who are living in the EU, it doesn't have to be EU resident. It can be any person who are currently located in the EU. So we have to comply to the GDPR too. And in some case, if the company doesn't have any establishment in the EU, we have to have the representative. We have to designate a representative in the EU. It's like the face of the company in case there is any personal data violation or data breach, so they can contact the representative. So now we know who is protected. It's not only Thai citizen, it's also expat living in Thailand, or even the tourists who are traveling into Thailand. So it's go to the location. And who got exception. Basically, if you use or if you process the data for the personal benefits for your household activity, you are exempted from this regulation. For example, if you have a CCTV camera in front of your car and you record people in case of accident, you use that for your personal benefits. Or you have a house, you have a CCTV in front of your house to safeguard your premise. That is also considered for your own benefit. So it is excluded from this regulation. But if you use it outside the house or for some other benefit, that means you have to be applied to this regulation too. Some other stuff is not really related to the hotel business. For example, public authority, they are excluded from this PDPA. Also, the mass media of fine art, the literatures who are conducting professional public for the public interest, they are included. House representative, the Senate, the Parliament also accepted. It's also those for the legal process can be accepted in this law. The last one is credit bureau. It doesn't have to comply with this PDPA. If we are mass media or a company who has a business or on the mass media of fine art or literature, we can process the data, but we are limited to the usage. We have to process that data only for the public interest. if you are processing that data, even though you are like TV channels, TV news, you process the data, but it's for your own interest, you have to comply. But it's for public interest, it's excluded from this PDPA. But I think it's subject to interpretation at the end of the day.